So how do you overcome feelings of guilt, shame, and self-loathing? Once you understand that your experience of reality is a manifestation or a reflection of your energetic state, then it becomes very obvious that feelings of guilt, shame, and self-loathing are incredibly handicapping, retarding to the goal of manifesting a positive experience of reality, manifesting a wonderful life. You are not going to have an experience of reality where things just always go your way and it is great and joyous and is constantly giving you reasons to feel good about yourself and good about the life that you're living and the people around you if you are walking around with feelings of guilt, shame, and self-loathing. You cannot manifest a reality that exceeds your self-image, that is higher than your self-image. So if in your heart you believe that you're the kind of guy that can only bag a girl that's a 6, and of course this is all subjective, but whatever you consider a 6 out of 10, then it is actually impossible for you to bag a girl that is a 7, a 8, a 9, or a 10 out of 10. It's just not possible. If you're somebody who sees yourself, that believes in your heart that you're the kind of person that is not worthy of making a certain amount of money, then you will never make that much money. And a few of the feelings, some of the prime culprits in regards to emotions and feelings, which of course are inspired by thoughts and ideas that we have, that are responsible for dragging down our feelings of self-worth and perception are the emotions of guilt, shame, and self-loathing. So allow me to walk you through with this video, walk you through a process that will help you to vanquish these emotions. First and foremost, you need to acknowledge that more than likely, whatever events happened in the past that you are feeling guilty or ashamed about or are beating yourself up for, that is the self-loathing, you made those decisions with good intentions. You weren't trying to hurt yourself. You weren't trying to hurt anybody else. But more than likely, if these decisions are now yielding these negative feelings, more than likely that was the outcome of those decisions. Somebody got hurt, somebody lost something. However, it is of my opinion, and this has been my experience, and I imagine it has been your experience, and I think it's true for the majority of people, we made these decisions with good intentions. We made these decisions thinking that we were making the right decision at the time. You can't have yourself up over something like that, man. You were trying to do the right thing. You are working with the information that you had to work with at the time, with the knowledge that you have. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. If I knew better, or if you know better, you do better. And so it would be no different than you smacking around a little baby for spilling some milk. It's a baby. It didn't know any better. It wasn't trying to spill the milk for the sake of making a mess. And even if it did spill the milk for the sake of making a mess, it did that from a state of being an immature baby. And so you have to understand that all the mistakes that you have made up until now, every decision that you have made up until now that has yielded bad results, has been a result of your spiritual blindness. If you are on this journey with me, if you are tapped into the esoteric and the spiritual, you need to understand that the day that you became consciously aware that this is how reality works was the day that you were born again, to use Christian language there, a little bit of Christian language. You became a new person, or as people in the spiritual community oftentimes say, is you woke up, you came online, you broke out of the matrix. And so there is no point, there is no reason for you to even continue to take responsibility or ownership over those decisions, because you would be assuming the ownership over decisions that somebody else made. You were the blind, following the blind, and you fell into a ditch. But what else would we expect of the blind? But now your eyes are wide open and you understand how reality works. And so you can now always make the right decision. You can always make good decisions. And you can trust your intuition and your gut, because you are now aligning yourself spiritually, energetically, with the frequencies that yield a better reality. And so that's the first thing. You need to acknowledge that you made these decisions at that time with good intentions, but with bad information. Okay. Now, the second reason why you need to, or the second thing you need to acknowledge, you need to understand, that will help you to release these feelings, is you must understand that you were blind. You couldn't see where you were going. Up until now, you've been living your life in a way where you were throwing things at the wall and looking at what sticks. You were a victim of your reality. You were a participant in your reality. But now you understand that you are the creator of your reality. And once you understand that, well, now you can see where you're going. What do I mean by that? Well, understanding that the reality that you experience is but and when I say that, the physical reality that you experience is but a solidified version of the energetic state that you have been maintaining up until now. And so if you live a life of chaos, of anarchy, of negativity, where things go bad and poorly, or things go kind of good, and for a while you have a lot of up and down in your life, a lot of good, a lot of bad, it just heavily fluctuates. All of that is but a reflection of the energetic state or states that you've been maintaining up until now. Understanding that, you now know that if you consistently maintain a positive energetic state, then in the near to medium term future, or even distant future, depending on how consistently you are able to hold this new positive frequency and the conviction behind it, the amount of faith or belief behind it, how much you charge these new frequencies with the corresponding emotions, that will determine how quickly this new reality will be what you experience in the physical, in the 3D. Point is, however, whether it happens quickly or not as quickly, but the people that follow me will get really good, really quick results, because that's what I experience using the techniques that I practice. And these are the techniques I share with you. They're very effective and very simple and easy to follow and easy to do. And so you should get results fairly quickly. But by fairly quickly, I mean, give it a few months. Give it 2 to 3 months. If your life isn't radically different in 3 months of following my instructions, then I would tell you to unsubscribe and never come back, because that was my experience. In 3 months, I more than quadrupled my income. I exponentially increased or improved my relationship with my wife. And when I started it, I didn't think I had a bad relationship with my wife to begin with. It was what I would consider above average compared to other relationships that I perceive and see. But now it is fucking amazing, my relationship with my wife. How I interact with my children and the relationship I have with my children is a lot better. And how people treat me and speak to me. Yesterday, I went to a convention known as DreamCon. It's put on by YouTubers. And I got to meet a lot of people who have been following me for years. And I must have taken like 200 photos with people. I heard so much, oh my God, I love you. You're my childhood. You're amazing. You know, even your walk online, it was so inspirational. You know, it was just all positive, all positive. It was the universe just is giving me what I have been putting out consistently for the past few months. And so if your life isn't significantly different in 3 months of practicing the techniques that I share with you, I would say throw it away. I wish I could have done that with religion. I wish there was a pastor who had the balls, the confidence to say, look, if you follow my teachings and you do what I say for the next 3 months, in 3 months, every aspect of your life is going to feel like you have been blessed by the gods or by God. But there isn't any. In fact, they'll probably tell you that if you lock in with my teachings for the next 3 months, 3 months from now, your life is going to be a living fucking hell because the devil is going to be chasing you and trying to get you to fall away and all of this shit. But hey, here's what it is. All that matters is that you're here now and your life is about to get really fucking good. Or if it doesn't, unsubscribe, never come back. Cool. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. So, you need to understand that you were spiritually blind. You did not realize that you should only make decisions that align with the energetic frequency that you wish to see continuously materialized in your physical world. What do I mean? I'll give you an example. Perfect example. Somebody does something bad to you or your family member, and you go in and you kill them. Maybe as you're standing over them, holding that bloody knife, for a brief moment, you feel as if justice has been served. You feel like you got your get back. But then, of course, the police get involved and you end up in prison, and now you're there for the next 40 years. Wow. You see what I mean? You made that decision to kill that person from a low energetic state, and therefore the end result was a negative consequence or reality that you didn't want, and that's exactly the kind of decision that people regret: murdering. This is, of course, why. And actually, when you take a look at the 10 Commandments, you can, once you understand that this is how the universe works, you can see that a lot of these things, such as the 10 Commandments, are not these aren't black and white rules that if you do this, you go to hell. If you do this, when you die, you go to heaven. They're really just reflections of the decisions that people make in low energetic states versus high energetic states. So for instance, why do people steal? People steal out of an energetic state of envy, jealousy, which comes from a state of disempowerment, fear, scarcity. That's why people steal. They don't believe they have the power, the ability to manifest the thing that they desire or the thing that they need without taking it from another person. They don't have that power, so they have to go and steal, right? Killing. Why do people kill? You don't kill from a place of peace and happiness. You kill from a place of anger, of fear, of bitterness. Same thing with adultery. You don't commit adultery from a place of peace and happiness. You commit adultery from a place of discontent, scarcity, negative frequencies. And so when you go through the list of many of the you shouldn't do and you should do's in these various holy books, you can actually see how it makes sense from an energetic point of view, which is why you don't need, once you understand how the universe works and how energy works, you don't need these black and white rules. Again, this is probably what was meant in the Bible when it talks about living by the spirit and not by the letter, right? And but that's the problem with these religions and these holy books, is that they have been manipulated by people who only want to control and extract resources from people. And so that's why I don't view any of these holy books as a rule book or a guidebook for how to live your life. They can be incredibly useful and powerful when you actually understand the spiritual, the esoteric, how energy works and how frequencies work. Then you can actually read these books and the valuable shit will jump out at you and shit will make sense. But the other way around can result in people living their lives based on the cultures and norms of people from 2,000 years ago that have no actual basis in true spirituality and really have no power to determine the outcome of your life one way or another, right? Like a man, a man shouldn't have long hair. There is no spiritual implications under that. There is no spiritual power in regards to whether or not you follow or don't follow that rule. There's nothing there. But yet, if you want to follow what the Bible says legalistically, well, then you'll end up thinking, if you have long hair, that you're going to be punished by God in some capacity. Not to get off on too much of a tangent, but the point is, you were spiritually blind in the past. You didn't understand that you making these decisions from a place of fear, from a place of anger, from a place of whatever lower frequency you made this decision from, that it was only going to yield a reality that would reciprocate that frequency. But now you understand. And so you don't feed into negativity. You no longer feed into beefs. You no longer feed into when your spouse or girlfriend or friend or associate does or says something that is offensive. For two reasons. One, you understand that feeding into it is only going to produce more of it. But two, you also have to understand that you manifested it. That situation, that event is merely the end result of whatever energetic state you were maintaining up until that point. You brought that experience into existence. Reality isn't happening to you, it's happening because of you. And so when you understand that, well, then that's even more reason not to, feed into it. Because you, one, are the reason it happened in the first place. And that can be a tough pill to swallow. But two, feeding into it is only going to produce more of it in some form in your reality. You were ignorant of all of this up until now, or up until you came into the understanding, the true understanding of the spiritual, of the esoteric. And so with that, you got to give yourself a pass, man, on whatever those decisions you made without the right understanding that resulted in negative consequences. The third thing, the third reason, or the third thing you need to acknowledge now that you have the proper understanding that will help you to release these feelings of guilt, shame, and self-loathing is that the reality that you will experience in the near to medium future is not determined by your past decisions at all. If you change your frequency and hold to a higher frequency in the present, and you maintain that long enough and with enough conviction and consistency, well, your reality will reflect that. And everything that happened in the past will be irrelevant. Doesn't matter how bad it was, doesn't matter what you did. If you are a free person right now and you're healthy enough to walk around and get things done, you have everything you need. And even if you were someone in prison, you could apply these principles to have a better experience in life in prison. And who knows, maybe even have developments occur that would result in you being freed from prison. But if I'm talking to you right now, you're watching this, more than likely, you're not in jail, you're not in prison, and you're not on your deathbed. If that's your reality, the sky's the limit. You can manifest an amazing life, completely irrelevant from what happened in the past. In fact, many of the people that you currently perceive as your enemies will become your friends. They will start to adore you, start to admire you, start to want to be around you and have good relationships with you. But you must occupy the right emotional state, the right energetic frequency, and be consistent of that regardless of what will happen in the immediate future. Because once you shift frequencies, you have all of this negative energetic momentum coming from your past. And of course, that is going to cause chaos within your life. I have a video talking about the chaos that arises whenever you make any major energetic shifts in your frequency. I have a video talking about that. I'll link to that up here in the corner, wherever it is. And if I forget to, you can just go through my videos, and it's the one talking about chaos. Okay. Now, those are all of the logical reasons why you should forgive yourself for whatever decisions you made in the past that are inspiring these feelings of regret, shame, guilt, and self-loathing. You didn't know any better. That's not even you anymore. You're a completely different person now. You're awake now. You were an unconscious bot before. And 3, those events and the consequences and all that stuff have absolutely zero bearing on what the future has in store for you, so long as you do not empower those past events by continuing to wallow in these negative feelings. If you let them go and maintain a higher frequency, then that will be your experience in the near to medium future. Now, all of that said, that's all fine and dandy, but it can be difficult when a thought arises that inspires one of these negative feelings, especially when you're in a situation where your reality hasn't started to shift yet to reflect your internal state, the energetic state you've been maintaining, when the physical hasn't yet really reflected that shift in a significant way. It can be challenging to overcome those feelings or dissipate them or stop them initially, right? Even though you know everything that we just articulated, even though you might understand them and believe them even, still you can struggle with these feelings. Well, that is where you are going to use my 2 favorite techniques for stopping negative thoughts and entering a state of peace, an energetic state of peace. Also combine that with the 3 principles Man, it's so much to talk about. I'm gonna give you a little grocery list of videos to watch if you don't already know how to do this. But I have a video talking about how to stop negative thoughts. I'm gonna link all of these videos down below. I have a video talking about how to stop negative thoughts. I also have another video where I talk about using the smile technique to stop negative thoughts dead in their tracks, and then to take that negative energy and emotion that was attached to that negative thought and, just like in judo, flip it and redirect that energy into a frequency of gratitude. That was actually spoken about in my most previous videos. I will go ahead and make a future video condensing all that information for people to consume, but I do feel as if I have spoken enough in this video and given you plenty of information. If you want help in regards to actual practices that you can do to accomplish that, stopping those feelings and helping you to maintain those higher frequencies, not giving into the frequencies of guilt, shame, and self-loathing, well then go ahead and watch those videos that I have linked in the description down below. Thank you for watching. Hope that helps.